All right, BradCooney.com is absolutely honored to have on board from season 12 of The Voice, Miss Felicia Temple. What is up, Felicia?
Hello there. Good evening, Brad.
Good evening to you. First and foremost, congratulations on the very successful blind audition.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's talk about it. So you sang All I Could Do Was Cry, and of course Alicia Keys turned first, and Gwen and Blake followed. So I'm guessing you were really relieved when those chairs turned.
I was so relieved when those chairs turned. It's kind of nerve-wracking, you know. Part of you, I think, hopes that the chairs turn right away. You can get a little relief. But, you know, it took longer. So I was just singing my heart out, hoping that those chairs would turn and, you know, making sure everything was perfect. And, you know, I wanted to get their attention. So it was such a relief when I saw Alicia's chair turn. And then I was just overjoyed, you know, to get even more chairs.
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you this. When you're singing, particularly in this blind audition, it's important to really focus, of course, and put forth your best performance that you can possibly do, because it's a huge opportunity, as you know. But is there like one eye opened a little bit, looking over at them chairs, just hoping one of them spins while you're singing?
I mean, absolutely. You know, the whole point of being there is to get that chair turn. You know, if you don't get the chair turn, the mission is not accomplished.
Right.
And, you know, it's so hard. Normally when you're singing, you're not in competition. You know, you're just singing, you're doing a show, and, you know, people are there to see you, and it's people who love you and know you already or know your music. And these are people who have never heard you, never heard your music, and never seen you. So it's kind of hard to just stay focused on the song and, you know, to give your best performance when you're worried about that chair turning. So you definitely have to keep one eye open, you know, waiting for that moment to happen to get some relief.
That's great. So when I announced that I was going to have you on the podcast show on my Facebook and Twitter, I had a lot of people, in fact, most people wanted me to ask, oh, you have to ask her about the duet with Alicia, the duet with with Alicia. So I got to ask you about it. It was really, first of all, your blind audition, for myself speaking, was the funnest one to watch. They're all great, but yours was just so much fun because of how hard, lack of effort from the other judges because they didn't have an opportunity. Alicia went up there and you did the duet, and it was like, there you go. I guess Alicia it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, of course, I feel like you wait for these moments, and, you know, you watch the show, you know, on previous seasons, and you kind of wait for that moment, you know, when you're walking up there to hear what everyone really feels about you. And, you know, getting up there, and it was so clear in my mind, of course, before I got on stage, that I wanted to go with Alicia Keys if she turned. And it was just like the cherry on top. You know, no one else even got a chance to say a word. I knew who I was going with. Like, it made no sense for anyone else to even say anything because there was nothing anyone could do or say to sway me from going with Alicia.
I just love Alicia Keys. I love everything about her. I love her artistic ability, her singing, but just what she does for charities and just the human being she is. She's just tremendous.
Yes, she really, I mean, I just love her. You know, that's what makes me such a fan. You know, it's really cool to be a fan of someone and then to meet them and they exceed the expectations that you have of them personally. You know, who she is in her music and the person that she, you know, that she represents herself as, you know, on TV or in ads or in her music is the person that she really is in real life. And that's such a, you know, it's such a pleasant surprise. Sometimes you can have an image of someone in your mind and the way that they're going to be, and she's really exceeded that. Oh,
that's awesome to hear. That's great. So when Adam Levine said he wants to hear Felicia and Alicia Keys do a duet, I mean, that must have totally shocked you. I mean, you just been like out of your mind when that happened.
I was so excited. You know, being an Alicia Keys fan, you know, I know all of her music. So I'm like, whatever it is she wants to sing, I'm ready to sing it. Like, I just love her. And it was so cool because, you know, when you know someone's music so well, you kind of, you know, the melody, you know, the background. So it was like so perfect. When she started singing, I was like, I know exactly where to come in. Like,
yes.
like my soul sister.
It almost looked like you guys rehearsed that. It was so good. It was, I know.
I cannot tell you how many people have asked me, was that staged?
No, I don't think it was staged.
Because that doesn't really, and I'm like, it was not.
No.
I could not have planned that better in my wildest dreams. Like, it was so spontaneous and so perfect. Like, it was the perfect moment.
It was, and yeah, I definitely don't think it was staged at all. I know it wasn't. But it sounded like it. That's a compliment, you know. It sounded like it was, like it was rehearsed.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, something I'm sure you'll never forget. All right, so you picked Alicia, which was a no-brainer. The whole country knew you were going to go with Alicia Keys at that point. So let's talk about how your life's changed so far. I know it's kind of early in the show, and you can't talk about certain things, but can you tell us a little bit about how your life's changed since the blind audition?
Well, since the blind audition aired on Monday alone, anyone who knows me knows I'm a pretty practical person, and you know I'm really responsible with the dollar, and I still have, you know, my nursing jobs. I have 4 nursing jobs.
Wow.
I work per diem at 4 places, and my main job, at Holy Name, I had to go to work. So the blind auditions aired on Monday night, and I had literally just gotten off of a 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. shift, and I rushed home to make it home in time for the premiere. And I had to go to work the next morning and work 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Wow.
And literally, from the second I walked in the door, it was like, oh my God, what was that? Like, my coworkers had never even heard me sing.
Really?
You know, they had no idea. No, they had no idea until I announced that I was auditioning for the show.
Wow.
They didn't even have any idea that I sang. So I live a very quiet double life.
Well,
you know, I would go out at night and do shows, and they would see pictures, and they go, oh, all you young girls like to do is party, and they had no idea that I was working. You know?
That's amazing.
To them, you know, they got a major shock. Like, their coworker that they've known as a nurse for all these years actually has a secret life, you know, and now I'm going to be on TV. It was like they were overwhelmed, and so was I. And I've had, you know, patients, you know, I'm putting in their IVs, and they're like, oh, my God, wait a minute. I saw you on TV last night. Like, are you the nurse from The Voice? Oh, my God, you're a real nurse? Oh, my God, you really work here? Like, you know, people were just amazed. I took selfies with so many patients.
I was going to ask you.
I tell everybody you were my nurse. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it. I bet you're taking a lot more photos with people these days.
Yes, it is. It's too funny. You know, patients, oh, my goodness, can you take a selfie with my son or my daughter or my husband? You know, this is so amazing. You're really a nurse. And they're like, wait a minute, what are you doing at work? And I'm like, I told you guys I was a nurse.
Yes, that's so cool. And it's like you talk about a shocker, man. It's like not only were you on TV, and everybody was shocked to see you on TV, but you're up there singing with a legend, Alicia Keys. I think she won like 17 or 18 Grammy Awards.
Yes, yeah. I mean, she is like so freaking awesome. So like, to be on stage with her, to sing with her, and to know that that really hasn't happened with any other contestant, you know, is like, oh, it makes me feel like so special.
That's insane. And now you get to have all those awesome photos, because all those professional photos that were taken of you two on stage together, you know what I mean? It's like,
I will treasure those photos forever.
Absolutely. I'm sure if it was me, they would be framed on my wall already.
My mom is actually in the process of making me a scrapbook of this whole process, because we just have to save everything. And I'm like, I will never forget that moment.
Oh, man, of course not. So tell the listeners how it was that you ended up on The Voice. Did you just, try out, or, I mean, like, what prompted you to try out? What was it, your story?
Well, actually, it wasn't necessarily something that I looked for. I was reached out to by one of the casting producers, and they said, we think you'd be really good for this if you'd be interested. And at the time, I was just finishing chemo, so I wasn't really sure if I was actually be cleared and, having to fly to Los Angeles. And there was a lot of things that were involved, and my doctor would have to clear me, and it was a lot. You can imagine having cancer and, just finishing treatment to, jumping into a whole new venture. And,
wow, yeah.
But I said, you know what, I'm going to take a step out on faith because I almost lost my life, and it's taken me, so many years, and I've put music on the back burner, always, in the back, to making money, to working as a nurse, to working at my career. And I said, for once, I'm going to put music in the front, and I'm going to take the opportunity to do this. And it has paid off in such amazing ways.
Right, and it's like, I wonder if you didn't have the cancer at one point, if you would have made a different decision. It's almost like you got your life back, so let's live this thing.
I have said that. I have said that to people. If the opportunity would have presented itself to me and I had never been sick, I probably would have been one of those people who said, no, TV shows are not really for me,
Wow.
Because I have projects out, I have fans, I've been on other networks, for various things, and, I really had the ball rolling before I got sick.
Yeah.
And I had done so many amazing things, and I was happy with where I was. And when I got sick and I really had to take a seat and, rethink what kind of music do I really want to make? Am I going to be able to make any more music? Am I really going to be able to sing like I used to be able to sing? So many things had happened. Once I got sick, I said, okay, I have to stop. Not that I was messing around with the music before, but it was like, I really want to just take a leap of faith and jump off the cliff and do it in front of everybody. And if I fail, I can at least know that I tried.
Yeah, man. A lot of people don't realize, and I just had Mark Isaiah on the show too a couple nights ago. Real good, talented singer. He's I'm sure you know him. And he was telling me about he was telling me about like all the hurdles you have to jump just to get to the TV side of the voice. There's so many, it's not just so simple. And people might think it might be easier, but it's not, is it?
No, I mean there's so many things that you have to do just to get to the point where everyone is just seeing you for the first time on national TV. And I think what a lot of people don't appreciate is people who watch the show don't realize that just making it on TV, even if you're a person who does not turn a chair, the odds of making it on TV and even getting on there and not turning a chair,
right.
America seeing your face, is so slim. I mean, it has to be like 1 in a million.
Yeah, because so many people try out.
There are so many people and so many talented people. So to be chosen at all to get to that part of the process is such a gift in itself, and you really have to keep that in mind when you're going through the process, because you can really get discouraged. You meet so many talented people. When you're in your small town of wherever in the backwoods, you're the most talented person that you've ever met, and the most talented person anyone in your town has ever met. And then you get here and you meet all these people, and suddenly you feel like you're not the most talented person by far.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. So, people really don't appreciate that there are so many rounds that you have to get through. And it's scary before people even see you on TV. So I'm so grateful for the experience.
Absolutely. And the level of talent that I'm seeing, and this is my 5th season doing podcasts with The Voice contestants, and I've really been dialed in the last 5 seasons. I've watched the show previous to that, but the first time I've actually been doing interviews is the last 5 seasons, and this season is really, really intense. There's some seriously talented. I think the most talented I've ever seen this early in the show.
Yes, I mean, the people that are on this season are just out of this world spectacular. And not only their voices are spectacular, they're just beautiful people.
Yeah.
And I'm so honored to be able to go through this process with them. As you can see, you saw on the first episode, you saw Skylar Harris. She didn't turn a chair. She's a police officer.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
With Brandon Royal. He's a firefighter ENT. I'm a nurse, so it's real everyday people.
And then Joshua.
It's beautiful to see people.
What about Joshua? He works with special needs kids.
Yeah, and Joshua, he's a special needs teacher. It's people who, sometimes when you're home and you're doing this by yourself, me, I'm living my double life. My coworkers don't know what I'm doing. I'm a nurse, and I feel like I'm an everyday Joe, and I'm trying to live my dreams. And then, you get here and you meet these people, and you see that there are people like me. It's people that you can relate to, people who have their day job, they're paying their bills, and they're also trying to live their dream. And it's so inspiring. It's really an inspiring environment to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, Joshua's performance with sexual healing, wow. I was blown away. That was some audition, man.
He knows something else.
Oh, man.
It's so funny because, getting to watch the auditions on stage, and I'm saying, he is such, behind the scenes, he's such a character, and I mean, he's the funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
He should have a second career as a comedian.
Really?
Because he's so funny.
That's great.
And it's so hilarious to see him, and he's so serious on the stage, and he's got this great stage presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he has a presence into himself. When he walks into a room,
I can tell.
Josh is there. He cannot be ignored, and I mean, he's so tall.
Right. But he seems like the kind of guy that everybody wants to gravitate to.
Yes. I mean, he's hilarious. He has a presence. He walks into a room and you can't ignore him.
Yep.
And to see him get on stage and just have this, swag about him, this coolness, I mean, he's a great guy. Yeah,
I really enjoyed his audition. He's going to be a threat. You're going to be a threat. I believe you two both are going to go very far in this competition. I wanted to ask you about the night before your audition. I like to get the mindset of the singers. Like, what was going through your mind? Because the next morning was going to be, like, the next day was, like, the biggest day of your musical life for sure. So how nervous were you? How nerve-wracking is the night before?
I have to admit that I wasn't really that nervous.
Really?
I'm one of those people, when it's time for me to do something, if I feel like I've prepared well enough, that I don't worry about it too much. I just feel like whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen, and I just have to focus on doing my best. And I can't worry about it. If I leave it to God, I can't worry about it. So I just had faith, and I said, it is what it is. And I was the same way. Before I took my nursing license exam, everyone else was up at the library, and they're studying, and they're saying, oh, my goodness, I was up all night studying. And I said, I didn't study for 3 days. What I know is what I know, and what it's going to be is going to be. And I was the same way with this. And I said, if it's going to happen for me, it's going to happen. I know the song back and forth, in and out. I have rehearsed all I can rehearse. And, I feel like it's going to be okay. And it turned out more than okay.
Yeah, it was so good. Your audition was so good. Gosh, I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. So happy for you. All right, so I looked at I've watched your blind audition on YouTube probably 7 or 8 times. And I also like to watch it just to prep for these podcasts. And I noticed this morning you had like over 1 million views on it already. That's pretty insane.
I saw that today, and I did a little jump. Over 1 million, it's crazy.
1 million views, and that's not even a week.
I can't. Well, you know what? I guess like you said, it was like a super entertaining audition. So that every time I hear something about The Voice, I see me in that red jumper, and I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody else posted something, and it gives people something to see. It's kind of like they got a 2-for-1, and I've been asked a gazillion times, oh my goodness, are you and Alicia Keys going to record that duet? And I'm like, maybe one day.
Yeah.
I hope.
Lord willing.
I'll just already come true with just singing with her. I couldn't imagine. I'm like, maybe I'll put it on my wish list.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. I remember with Sawyer Fredericks, he won season 8, I believe. He's the folk singer, the kid that was from upstate New York with the really long hair and wore that hat all the time. I mean, Pharrell Williams did some producing on his first record. So you never know.
Hey, I'm putting it on my wish list.
Absolutely. So last thing I got for you, and I'll let you go. What's some advice you can share with somebody who's thinking about doing this, thinking about trying out for The Voice?
My best advice for someone who's going to try out for The Voice is to really know who you are before you get here. You know, I try to tell people it is not the responsibility of the show to make you who you are, because eventually for everyone this ends. You know, whether you don't turn a chair, or whether you make it to the live show and you go home, or whether you make it to the finale, or whether you win. Whoever you are when you get here, you know, it's their job to maximize it, to make it bigger, to make it brighter, to make it shine. You have to know who you are and what you want to be, and you have to stand firmly in that, because you can get very lost if you don't know who you are, or what you want to be, or what kind of music you want to sing, what type of artist you want to be, what you want to represent. So I tell people, if you're really not sure, if you just say, well, I just like music, I just like anything, you know, you could be turned into something that you never thought you ever would want to be. So that's really my main thing. Just know who you are before you get here, because you're going to go home, and it's going to be you again. And you have to know how to, you know, take that by the reins and run with it.
That's great, man. Great advice. All right, kiddo, I really appreciate you doing this. And before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to share with the listeners where they can follow you on all your social sites, like Instagram and Twitter and websites, things like that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, lucky for me, best places to reach me on social media, they're all the same. So on Instagram, on Twitter, YouTube, it's all at Felicia Temple, Felicia Temple, www.feliciatemple.com, and pretty much Snapchat, Felicia Temple, Facebook, Felicia Temple Music. You can find me on all those sites, and I'm pretty active, and if you send me a message, I will most likely reply as soon as I see it. So don't be afraid to reach out.
That's great, man. Well, look, I really appreciate you doing this podcast. I want to wish you best of luck going forward, and hope to get you back on down the road a little ways for a follow-up.
Oh, thank you so much. I would love to.